we shall begin with the next set of questions today. Again, slightly different. Some typology will be repeated here. This is a very different kind of question which you would be seeing. So what it says is you are shown this 4 different sets of cameras. How the object appears on the screen is what is written here. So for a scene with a series of opposing over-the-shoulder shots of the 2 subjects which are given below, such that the subject A appears on the right and the subject B appears on the left side of the frame. You have to choose which is the appropriate, which are the 2 appropriate camera angles for subject A to appear to the right and subject B to appear to the left. So, one second. Yeah. So within this subject A will appear on the right side and this subject B will appear on the left side like this. Anybody can guess which will be the correct, which are the 2 angles from which this particular kind of position will be seen? For subject B to appear on the left side like this, 1 or 2, which one will come? From 1, if I look at it, will subject B appear on the left side or will it appear on the right side? Actually, I didn't saw that. I didn't saw the chat box. Just check it. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. You need to check your answer. Yeah, Tanisha, please check your answer. Manam, Ananya, Ria, Ananya, your answers are correct. Ananya Patel and Ananya, both your answers are correct. Tanisha, Hia, Pant. Need to check your answers. Pal, please check your answer. Vanshika, your answer is correct. Mishra, you please check your answer. It's wrong. Tanisha, your answer is wrong. TA, please check your answer. Janvi, your answer is correct. Okay. So here for B to appear on the left side of the frame like this, what is shown here, the camera angle has to be here. For A to appear on the right side, the camera angle has to be like this. So the correct one is 2 and 3, which is the option A here. In this case, all you have to do is just draw that angle and you will get, okay, space kis jagah pe zyada bachta hai. Is the space appears on the left side more or on the right side more? Is this clear? Anybody has any questions here in this? All right, take it. We'll move then. Here you are given 3 different views of a 3D object like a dice, and that object has different symbols on all faces. In the third view, there is a face which shows a missing sign. You have to identify which will be the sign which will come here. Now, if you look at option the view X and Y, both all the faces which happen on that vertical and that slanted surface are visible. So either it has to be a square or a line or a pentagon or a quarter of a circle. So the options such as the triangle or the hexagon, they're automatically eliminated. Either it will be a quarter of a circle or it will be a square, right? Is this clear? So any guesses? What will be the correct one? Manam, Vanshika, your answers are correct. Okay, so in this one, what happens is if you look at the view 7, no, sorry, the view Y, sorry. The curved edge of the circle is where the curved edge of the circle happens. On that particular side, we have a quarter of a circle and a pentagon happening. Now, if I look at the face where there is a missing sign seen, it faces the vertical edge of the semicircle. If it faces a vertical edge of the semicircle, which means on both these faces, these two signs would be coming, which is the square and the line, which is opposite to what the curved edge of the circle is. So logically, I mean, straightforward, the correct answer is option C. The quarter of the circle will come only if there was a curved surface happening on this side. Only then the quarter of the circle will be the correct one. Is this clear? Anybody has any doubt in this? Any questions? Okay, we'll move ahead. These are 4 paintings which are given. You have to identify which is the painting, which are the painting or which is the painting that is made by Picasso. Here in this question, I would request all of you to please Google, like, because we have we can spare 5 minutes. Please look at the different styles of painting which are made by Picasso from his earlier years to the years where he died, basically. So if you look at the transition of the paintings which are made by Picasso, you will observe that in his earlier years, he used to paint in a more realistic manner. Well, as he progressed ahead in his age, his paintings became more and more abstract. Cubism concept started reflecting in his works. So please spare some time and look at his work. It's extremely important. Picasso's works and his paintings are asked many a times. So please spare some 5 minutes of your time and look at it right now. Yeah, sorry. Just for your information, the correct answer here is B and D. This is by Matisse, Henry Matisse. Even you can even look at his work. I'll just type it in the chat box, the name of the artist. I'm not sure of which painting is option A. I really have to search it. I'll just let you know like after the session in this week. Okay. Ah, sir. Ah, Yeah, so I have written certain four artists' name in the chat box. Like you can just note it down for now, but look, for now you can look at Picasso's work. If you have time, also look at other three artists' work. In this, Mondrian style is very different, very prominent. So just have a look at it. Hmm. Yes, Manam, you're absolutely correct. I just checked it. It's a painting by KG Subramania. Thank you so much for this. All right. Have you all seen it? Are you all done Googling? Hello? Have you all seen it? Are you all done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, all right, fine. Thank you. Sorry, one second. Yeah. So here you're given a figure which is also the front and the top view of an object. In the options, you're shown the left side of that, the left side of this 3D object. So you're shown this particular side in the options. You have to find which is the correct left side. It can be one, or it can be two options, or it can be three, or it can be four options also. Which is the correct left side of this particular 3D object. Okay, Tanisha, Nishka, your answers are wrong. Harini, your answer is wrong. Kia, your answer is wrong. Ye, your answer is wrong. Vanshika, your answer is correct. Ria, your answer is wrong. Pal, your answer is wrong. Pant, your answer is wrong. Shaivi, Ananya, and Ananya Patel. Shaivi and Ananya, your answer is wrong. Ananya Patel, your answer is correct. All right. So the correct answer here, 1 second. Yeah, they, Ananya, your answers. They and Ananya, both your answers are wrong. I'll just come to the correct one now. 1 second. Yeah. So the correct answer here is A and C. In option D, for option B, for this to be the left side of it, when I look at this object, either, so if I'm looking at this object from the top view, I should be able to see something like this here. For option B, because I will be also looking at this edge. For option D to be correct, I will have an inverted dotted line here. For option D to be correct. Now, since that is not given, because there is a depression on this side and there is also also on this side, on either of the view, there will be some, for option D to be correct, there will be some depression, dotted line seen in the top and also in the front view. And for option B, there will be a projection of this kind seen because of this surface that comes here. And henceforth, option B and option D both are incorrect. In case of option A and C, if I'm looking from the top, I will be seeing these two surfaces and also the surface that edge happens on this side. When I look at from this side, again, this surface becomes or looks almost like this. So, I mean, in A or C, either ways, there will be no hidden dotted line. There won't be any solid projection coming out like this, like we are getting in option B and D, and that's why A and C are the correct ones. Are you clear? Now, why am I saying D is wrong? Is because in option D, although there is a cutout in the middle, they have still have shown that cutout in a dotted line. Now, if we are supposed to follow that rule, there has to be a cutout seen of the hidden lines, even if I'm looking from this side or even if I'm looking from this side. And that's why option D is wrong. Is that clear? Any questions anybody wants to ask here? Any doubts, any questions? All right. 1 second. Why C? Okay. I'll let you know, Ria. Why C is because, 1 second. Yeah. Why C? Because it's a curve, I agree. But even if it is a curve, even if I'm looking at from top side, this curve edge will look like a flat surface for me. This curve edge will always look like a flat surface for me, irrespective of, unless and until this was happening like this. Like, you know, this curve edge, which is happening like this. So instead of that, there was a slight kink and then something was happening, in which case I will see that edge happening here. Since it's a smooth curve, I won't be seeing this edge in between. And it will almost be read like a flat surface, like how I'm seeing it here. And henceforth, the registered line will come because of this surface difference between the two. And this surface difference between the two. Or which is of course parallel to this line, which is defined by the edge. और कोई edge नहीं read होगा. Why? Because it's a smooth curve. Like for example, if you take a cylinder, you know, if I take a cylinder and I'm supposed to draw the front view of it, I will read the cylinder to be a rectangle. I won't read any kind of curve or kink there. Likewise, wherever there's a curved surface, you will always read it like a flat surface. That's why option C will come. Okay, thank you. Any questions anybody else wants to ask? All right, fine. We'll move to the next one then. Yeah, so this is a pentagon. I mean, you have to find, this is a three-dimensional Archimedean solid. You're supposed to find how many pentagons are there in the structure. How will you do this? Can anybody name what kind of solid is this?
Sphere.
No, it's not a sphere. What does this solid remind you of? Does that remind you of any object that you use in day-to-day life? Yes, it's a football. But what sort of solid is a football? A football is what kind of solid? Sometimes that name can be asked. That's why I'm saying. It's important to learn the name of that Archimedean solid that football is made of. No, it's not a hollow sphere. It's not named as a hollow sphere. No. It is called truncated icosahedron. truncated icosahedron is the name of the Archimedean solid, which is a football, and it has 12 pentagons and 20 hexagons, I think. Just check it once. But I think it is 12 and 20 is a figure which comes to my mind so far. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So just remember that name of the solid of what football is called. Okay, it's important. Also, Archimedean solids such as snub cube, SNUB, snub cube, CUBE. Just remember that. What is it called? Okay. Like, was it what? How does it look like? Snub cube ka. What is the other name? And how many surfaces does it have? And what shape surfaces does it have? What different shape surfaces does it have? Okay. I'll just type it in the chat box so you can make a note of it. SNUB, snub cube. Okay. We have done this earlier, or have we not done this earlier? Can anybody let me know? I don't remember solving this with this batch. That's why I'm asking.
We have not done.
We have not done. Oh, thank you. So here you are given a cube, a cube which is 4 by 4 by 4. So this is 4, this is 4, this is 4. This is also 4, and this is also 4, which makes PB to be 2. What else is given? The shape ARDS. ARD, where is S? ARDS is a part of the pyramid placed on a cube. The point P is a middle point of the line segment AB. It's a middle point P. And point Q is at the center of the line segment BC. Point Q, which is this, is at the center, which makes QC to be 2 units if it's the middle point, naturally. QR is 1. QR, that is 1. Things 1. Is on the line segment TQ parallel to AB. All right. Point T is at the center of the line segment AD and ST. Point T is the middle point of AD and ST. An ant tugs a tunnel through the cube on the path PC and then travels via point Q and are to finally stop at S. What would be the actual length which is traveled by the ant? So the red path that you are seeing, P, C, Q, R, and S, that is the path which is traversed by the ant, and this is the distance is what this distance is basically carved out or chewn out by that ant. What you have to find is the actual distance traveled by the ant, which is the red path. How do we do that? Now, what do we know? We know ST, which is 4. It's written here. I forgot to write it, but ST is 4. We know TR. If RQ is 1, then TR will be 3. If 4, 3, and that makes SR to be 5, right? If this is 4, vertical is 4, bottom is 5, then SR will be of the length 5 by the Pythagoras theorem. RQ is 1. QC is 2. Now what we need to find is the length PC. The length PC can be found by simple Pythagoras theorem again. You just have to first find this length, PC dash. Using the length PC dash, you will find the hypotenuse CP. So can anybody tell me PC dash kitna aa raha hai? If anybody has calculated, you can speak.
Root 20.
Root 20.
Yes.
So I'll just write root 20. So root 20 and then 4. So 20 plus 16 is how much?
So BC will be 6.
Huh? 36.
PC will be 6.
So PC'd will be 6, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
6 plus 2, 8 plus 1, 8 plus 1, 9 plus 5, 14. So this is the actual length which is traversed by the ant. Simple. Please remember it is, this kind of very simple questions can be asked. They're fairly simple. You just have to break things up into smaller chunks. Any doubts anybody has here? All right, okay. Just move to the next one then. So here you're given 2 flasks. It has oil and water. And one has oil and water and one has only water. Now, the flask, which is the second flask, which is made of water, which just has water, is filled into the first flask, which has oil and water. What will be the resultant composition when you fill it? Ananya, Shaivi, Niksha, Hiya, Manan, Manam, your answers are wrong. Panchika, your answer is wrong. And naturally, everybody goes with the option that you are writing here. It's wrong. Ria, your answer is wrong. Ananya, your answer is correct. Manam, your answer is wrong. Harini, your answer is wrong. Shreya, your answer is wrong. There, your answer is wrong. Panth, your answer is wrong. Parth, wrong answer. Pal, wrong answer. All right, fine. Let's just go here. The correct answer is YA now. If you look at the volume see, this is a funnel, right? It has a wider base and a narrower bottom, and a narrower top. When the oil is at the bottom, its volume will be so much. But when it increases at a higher level, the volume might remain the same, but the height will increase because it's going towards a wider region. It's going towards a narrower region. The neck is narrower. That's where this height increases, but the volume remains the same. Now, when water is added on top of it, oil and water, they don't mix with each other, first thing. In order to mix oil and water, you need soap or any kind of medium which allows that mixing to happen. So when water gets added, oil, because it's, water settles at the bottom and oil always remains on top. when water is added on top of this mixture. So all the water का इतना volume है, that volume increases to almost that level. And oil, because it was here, it had a smaller depth. यहाँ पे because the neck is narrower, it becomes more. The volume, the height of that thing increases. So instead of that, it might become double. It might be definitely more than that. So it will be option A and not option C, because in option C, what it tells is the volume has decreased. इसका जो surface area है, वो कम हो गया है. What it tells is that. Now option B भी नहीं आएगा, because oil and water, they cannot remain like this. The water will always try to come down and the oil will try to rise above. So this doesn't happen, and this definitely not possible at all. Oil and water cannot mix with each other unless and until you are adding a third medium inside, which allows that mix to happen. So option D was a clear not possible. Option B also was something which was not possible. Option C, you might confuse between option C and A, and that's what happened. Most of the students started giving option C to be the correct one, but you have to understand that in a funnel, when things are at the bottom, you will have lesser height. In elevation, it looks like a lesser height, but as it increases, as that same volume rises towards the narrower neck, that height increases, although the volume remains the same. And this height I'm talking about. And that's where option C is also wrong and option A is the correct one. Is that clear? Any questions anybody has? All right. So here you're given two different views of a object. You have to identify the correct view of the object. Now, in this case, the hint to find the correct answer would be to look at whether the edges are parallel. So whether this edge and this edge, they are parallel, and if not, they're parallel, are all these edges meeting at one point? So first question, are the edges parallel? Definitely not, which means that option B is not possible. Another question will come is are the two faces, this face and this face, would they be parallel to each other or would they not be parallel to each other? And it's a perspective, so it is a little bit difficult to guess whether or not they're parallel or they're not parallel to each other. But what helps you in finding is this part. Now, are you able to guess what will be the condition?
And because in the option, all of the options, every line.
Sorry?
Ma'am, these two edges, they are parallel because ma'am, in the option, every edges line are parallel to each other.
Yeah, but option B shows all the edges are parallel. Now, if I see this edge, this is clearly not in line with that perspective. So there will always be one edge which is not parallel.
Yes, ma'am.
So कौन सा ऑप्शन ऐसा है जिसमें एक ही एज पैरेलल नहीं है?
Option A.
Option A. So that is the correct one. See, when objects are shown in perspective, try to, extrude that line and see if it if it meets at one point. If the edges are not meeting at one point, which means they are not parallel to each other. If they're meeting at one point, which means they're parallel to each other. And by doing this short thing, we came to know that the three edges, they are parallel to each other. There's only one edge which will not be parallel to each other. which will not be parallel to it. And that condition is satisfied in option A. And that's where that one is our answer. Is that clear? Any doubt anybody has? All right. See. Fairly simple question. What it says is you're given, enclosed prose is written in one font style. You have to find the letter A which matches with this particular font style. Which of the letter A matches with this particular font style? My first question to you all is, what is the difference between option A and C? So what is the difference between A and C?
The curve is thinner of A than C, and in the A1, the point is smaller than the C one.
The curve is thinner and the point edge. I'll just, so one is this thing. Another is the thickness, of course. There is also another significant difference of the shoe. My also another question to you all would be, what should I be following? Should I be following this? Or should I be following this?
Ma'am, D.
Sorry?
Ma'am, D.
Option. So see, what happens is, so what happens is, if you look at the way C ends here, and if you look at the way this ends here, L and L or even E ends, what happens is when you have a stagnant, so in E, this happens, versus in C, it curves like this. Or in option D, you have this curve which happens like this. So what I'm assuming for the rule here follows is, when there's a curve which is happening, you may be closing it with some form like this, which is what is seen in option D here. Versus when it is stagnant, like this, you end it like this, or when it is stagnant for N, you end it like this. When we talk of option A, the last edge is always going to curve in like this, and that's where neither option A comes or neither option C comes. Option B is the correct one. That's right. Is that clear? Any questions you want to ask here? Here in this case, we had two conditions. Remember that the letters had two conditions, two ending conditions. You had to go with which ending conditions will come here. You may follow that the rule which I say. There is also another constant which happens is the vowels O, E, small letter E, not the capital letter E, but the vowels O, the letter E, in enclosed and even in prose, they are ending with that edge, with that curvy edge. But then for option D, that is going the other way around. So the assumption which I took here, that's where was wherever the letter ends with continuation thing like this, the folding remark will be, like this, like what is happening, what is seen in option C, option B. And that's why I chose option B, which also happens to be the correct one. And wherever there is a constant, wherever the letter ends stagnant like this, like, nothing, with nothing ending at the end, just something which just stops there. And that's where the termination might be happening. This kind of termination might be happening. That was my assumption for solving this. Any doubts, any questions you want to ask here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Here you are given this sequence 1, 2, 3. They are somewhat related. They are related with each other and they are in some sequence. You have to find the fourth figure which comes here. Very easy. There's nothing brainstorming here. Very easy one. Yes, Johnny, your answer is correct. Ananya, your answer is wrong. Riya, Vanshika, your answers are correct. Paul, Ananya, Patel, your answers are correct. Paul, your answer is correct. Okay, so what happens in all this is if you look at this figure and this sign, they are remaining constant in all. No change happening for them. That's where this figure stays here, this figure stays here, no constant. What keeps on changing is the three figure which are there, and that too they are changing in this direction. So this sign moves here, this sign moves here, this sign moves here, and then this sign moves here. That's what happens across. And henceforth, after this, the heart comes on top, the square comes here, and then the circle comes here, which is happening in option B. Simple, fairly simple. Okay. Any questions anybody has? Okay. So here you are given this pedestal kind of form, which is made of bricks. There's no hollow thing. There's nothing hollow inside. So everything is solid. What you have to find is the number of bricks that will be there in the stack. I'll help you with something. If you look at this unit, and this unit is fairly same. So this unit, this unit, this unit, and this unit, they will be equal. Do you agree? So likewise, can I say that the whole pedestal is made up of 7 rows? Is it correct?
Yes.
The whole. What you have to do next is basically calculate in each row how many bricks will be there. How do I do that? Don't literally calculate it. How do I do this is simple. I'll just draw some lines and you will come to know very clearly what you have to do. You're able to see this? Take just one part. Don't take the whole thing. Take just one part at a time. I'm sorry for the lines to be not parallel, but I hope you're able to understand. So what you do is you just take one part, which is this first. And on the bottom row, in this part, 1, 2, 3. So there will be 3 bricks into 4. Because why 4? Because there are 4 of such repetitions which are happening, plus 1. 1 brick which will be happening in the middle for row 1, or I will say row A here. Okay. So 3 into 4, 3 bricks in the bottom. 3 bricks in the bottom, that is getting repeated on all the 4 sides. That's why 3 into 4 plus 1, which will be 13. This is clear? This same equation happens for row A, row B, row C, and row D. So for all the 4 rows, this is happening. So 13 into 4 is how much? 42. Is that clear? Now this is only till that much part. The next part, row E. For row E, 2 into 4 plus 1 is what will be the formula for that. 2 bricks, this one. Those 2 bricks will be happening on all the 4 sides. So 2 into 4 plus 1 brick which will be in the middle. So 2 into 4, 8 plus 1, 9. So E will have 9 bricks. The row F, this is the F row. The row F will have 1 into 4, which is 4, plus 1, the 1 brick in the middle, which is 5. And then we come to the row G, which has only 1 brick. There are no bricks anywhere. So 42 plus 9, we get 51. 51 plus 5, 51 plus 5, 56, plus 1, 57. 42. I think I did some mistake.
I'm 13 fours are 52.
Sorry, 52. Yeah, sorry. I was making some mistake here. 52 plus 9, 51. 52 plus 9, 61. 61 plus 5, 66, and then 67. Which is option D. This is clear, right? In this kind of questions, please, where repetitions or where symmetrical objects are there, you have to literally break that symmetrical objects into its module, one module, and then multiply it very simply. Okay. Any questions? Any doubts? All right. We shall, we'll take just one or more, 2 questions, one or another 1 questions after this, and then we'll end this session. So this is a squirrel who is jumping and who is jumping, and then she's searching for something. You have to find the tail position that will happen in the 3rd position, in the 3rd place, basically. How will the tail of the squirrel appear in this place? where the question mark is. So the squirrel is jumping, the tail is here. It becomes almost like a question mark, and then it inverts. What this position shows is the intermediate position has to have both the curves. It has to have this curve also, and it has to have this curve also. Anybody, any guesses? Ananya, your answer is correct. Ananya Patel and Shaivi, your answers are wrong. Yeah, your answer is wrong. Vanshika, your answer is wrong. You have to imagine the bounds. See, what happens when I say imagine the bounds, what I mean is, here, if you look at the position of this curve, it's actually in motion, right? The tail is in motion. So here it's in motion in this direction. From this, it's almost in motion in this direction. And then this curve, because it's in motion in this direction, it almost tends to come like this, because it's still in motion in this direction. So option B, जिसमें ऐसा हो जाता है, it's difficult. That's where option C will come, because the motion of that tail, it's going to happen in that direction. So the curve moves from here to here like this. And then when it does that, after that, after this curve, it starts to invert like this further, and then further moving on this, I mean, converting directly into that inverted curve. So option C, that way is the correct one. It is difficult to have a position like what is seen in option B directly after this kind of position. Why? Because here the curve is still in motion. It's still in motion in this direction. That's why. Okay. Any questions anybody has here? Okay. We'll take this as the last one and we'll terminate this. This is the last question for this session. Okay. So what you're given is a front view on the left side. There's a 10th floor. I mean, block 1 has 10 floor, block 2 has 15 floor, and block 3 has 20 floor. So block 2 is somewhere in the middle between the block 1 and block 3. Of the red lines which are marked in the perspective view, which will be the correct height in perspective of block 2? That is what you have to guess. A, B, C, or D. How do we do this? In perspective, if you want to find the middle position, how do you do this? How do you find the midpoint in perspective drawing? Because option 2, I mean block 2 is the middle point of height of block 1 and between block 1 and block 3. That's why. Manam, your answer is wrong. Jia, your answer is wrong. Ananya Patel, your answer is correct. Shaivi, your answer is wrong. Parth, your answer is wrong. Ananya, your answer is correct. Vanshika, your answer is wrong. Priya, your answer is correct. All right, good. What happens is, in a perspective, you cannot literally trace the middle point. So if I look at this length, the middle point of this length won't be the half of it. It won't be option C for sure. In order to find that middle point, what I will do is, I will trace this line first till here. I will trace this line here. I will do a cross like this. Wherever that cross meets is what the middle point, the middle position will be. So now you can guess, right? It is option A. The cross is coming at option A here. The cross is coming here at option A, and that's where the middle position, that is the midpoint between the height, between the block 1 and block 3. That's where the correct height of option of block 2 will be option A. Is that clear? Any questions, any doubt you want to have in perspective? Okay, this is specifically for when you're drawing a perspective or when you're tracing the middle point between two heights in perspective. Don't do it, visually. Okay, this looks like a middle point. Draw a box and then do a cross between the box, like how I did. After drawing the box, do a cross between the block, between the box, and then wherever that intersection happens, that is the middle point in perspective. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Thank you. We will end this session here now.